moment 4 years ago, and is Sarah Shostak still here?
Yeah.
Sarah and I, 4 years ago, made a call on Joe Romano of Romano Brothers, and we said, we have this crazy idea, which we think is a good one, to celebrate Evanston's 150th birthday, which took place on December 29th, last December. And it's not a party, it's not a big gala, we don't need money for that, but we need support, we need your support to develop Evanston 150. And out of Evanston 150 has come an incredible number of very positive aspects for our community that are going to have impacts for decades to come. Joe was there. We made the visit to Joe. He made a commitment to us within 24 hours, and that's the kind of guy that Joe Romano is in this community. He's been president of Romano Brothers. It's a $1 billion plus organization that manages assets in Evanston. His dad is here with us, Dick Romano, waiting for Dick. Joe has been president of the Illinois Security Industry Association and been involved in a number of his industry activities, but most important, he has been a #1 supporter of Evanston small businesses in our not-for-profit community. He's been on the boards of the Chamber, of the Connections for the Homeless, we'll hear later, the Youth Job Center. I can't say enough, the mayor appointed him to the firefighters' pension review. Joe is going to solve the state's pension. I'm taking that commitment on behalf of Joe. So, he's been involved in mashup, and I can't tell you how many things. And I present with great pride the Small Business Award to Joe Romano.
Thank Jay. Can everybody hear me? Yep. I want to thank Jay and First Bank and Trust for that very warm introduction. I've prepared some remarks tonight. I promise I'm going to keep them at 4 minutes. I timed it, so we'll have you in and out of here. And then my co-awardee, Jane Doyle, can share in the spotlight. But I want to share a funny story to kick off. A couple weeks ago, after I was informed that I won this award, Joe Flanagan, there's Joe, put out an email to a bunch of our friends and associates, and in the email he referenced this as the Evanston Man of the Year Award. And so Jay, since you and the bank are the presenting sponsors, you think maybe we could change the title up a little bit? Maybe make an exception this year?
Man of the decade.
There you go. You're not just saying that because Joe's on the board of directors, right? Okay. So like I said, I want to just take about 4 minutes, but there's some special people here tonight. This is a very, I'm flattered at this honor. So bear with me, because I want to tell you a little bit about my journey to this podium, as it began really long before I began my career in the investment business 18 years ago. In 1962, my father, Dick Romano, and his brother, Bob, had a dream to start an investment firm. They were inspired by a failed effort to find a firm that was a fit for handling a modest sum of money for my grandparents, who were soon to be retiring. The retail investment industry was very different in those days and generally catered to only the very wealthy, and my grandparents simply didn't have enough money to fit the bill. They didn't know much about the investment business back then, because my father was a PhD in chemical engineering, and Bob had just finished law school. They set up shop in a small one-room office on one of the upper floors of the old First Illinois Bank building. Many of you now know it as the Optima Lofts, at the corner of Davis and Sherman. And they literally starved for the next 5 years. In my family's case, my father made some earnings through some part-time teaching and lab work at Northwestern, and my mother is a Chicago public school teacher. My father will tell you that to this day, the only reason that he and the firm survived was due to sheer naivete. He and my uncle simply didn't know what to expect, so they didn't know they were floundering. But as time progressed, they demonstrated some staying power and developed a reputation, one that we covet to this day. In fact, in 52 years, we've never had a formal written complaint or been involved in an arbitration or a lawsuit. We're very proud of that. Our assets have blossomed as a result, and today we are a private wealth management firm with 18 professionals which oversee $1 billion in client assets. While most of our clients might now be considered wealthy or even ultra wealthy, we haven't forgotten our mission and still serve many families with more modest needs. Our investment philosophy and our business model hasn't changed much in that time either. We are conservative as our clients prefer to be the ones that create the wealth and look to us to preserve it. As for our business model, we prefer to conduct our own research and use individual stocks and bonds to create custom-tailored portfolios for our clients, rather than use mutual funds, annuities, or farm out our clients' money to third-party managers. We eat our own cooking, and we are co-invested in the same ideas which we recommend to clients. We find that nothing hones our own investment acumen like having your own money on the line next to your clients. Now, I mentioned earlier that my father and uncle didn't know much about investing back in those days, but they did know one thing for certain. They didn't want to be just another investment firm located on the 32nd floor of some office building on LaSalle Street. They wanted a community, they wanted to be a part of it, and they wanted to be visible and active. They and the firm continue to strive to live up to that commitment, whether through our 40 to 40 campaign, which was a $40,000 grant program to celebrate our firm's 40th anniversary, participating in local community boards, or through annual giving. So to be recognized today by my peers and by this community has extra meaning for me, and I mean that sincerely. It's a fulfillment of my father's original vision. I'm truly grateful to all of you for this honor. In addition, milestones like the firm's 50th anniversary, and what a party we had with 450 of our best friends and clients, crossing the $1 billion mark, and now this. And to be able to celebrate these moments with both my mom and dad, who are both here tonight. Can you guys raise your hand? And with my wife, who I met at the firm. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody. My dad's sales assistant, but we made it. Made for good gossip around the water cooler. But all of them are here tonight. And both my mother and father, and I can't emphasize this enough, it wasn't just my father. It was my mother who sacrificed as well to get the firm on its feet. I mentioned earlier she was a Chicago public school teacher, and she literally supported our family during those first 5 years. She never once, during that time, asked my father, when are you going to fold this up and bring up a paycheck? So we're here as much for my mother as we are my father. So to be able to celebrate this with all of you, I'm truly blessed. So thank you for being here. In closing, I want to say some closing words about the Chamber and what it's meant to me, and it seems only appropriate because this is the 94th annual celebration. And I want to celebrate what the Chamber means to me. We've been members of the Chamber for how many years, Dad? 35, 40, 50, who knows? But things for me really kicked off about 6 or 7 years ago when I joined the board, or was asked to join the board. In perusing the Chamber website in preparation for tonight, found a lot of information on the Chamber. But what you won't find on there is the rock-solid relationships that I've formed with people like Paul Giddings. Where's Paul? Here he is, front row. Hack Hughes, Steve Haggerty, and Rebecca Burnett. All of whom I met while serving on the Chamber board. All our terms overran one another. They are mentors, they're confidants, they're sounding boards for me, and all of them has played a role in shaping my company, including speaking to me and my staff at company retreats and leading those presentations off-site for our employees. Most of all, I'm proud to call them friends and I'm grateful to the Chamber for this. So thank you. Finally, in closing, if you were to ask Elaine, where's Elaine? Here's Elaine. Everybody's in the front row. About our conversation. You remember our conversation when you notified me that I was selected for this award? I bet you'd say it was pretty awkward. And that's because I spent 5 or 10 minutes trying to convince Elaine that others were more deserving than I. It was too early in my career, etc. But to this, I can only pledge to you the best is yet to come. So thank you very much again for this wonderful honor.